Waiting.
And we're live. Hello, Kaz.
Hello, Kelly.
How are you?
I'm very well, very well. All good.
That's good. We've been having a chat just now, and I want to wait for a few seconds to see if anybody shows up. But in the meantime, for the sake of our replay, we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
And we've been talking about this for months and months, and just the last few days we've solidified it.
Yep.
And it's all about our listings. And do you want to tell me something about where you come into our listings, what relationship you've got with Amazon, and what relationship you've got with any of the stuff that we're going to be talking about, whether it's photography or design or all that kind of stuff?
Okay, so I'll tell you about the Amazon story to start with. So I joined up a group to try and make some money on Amazon as a little bit of an extra side income. And through doing that, being your first product, learned a lot about what you should and shouldn't do. And in your group, when I joined your group, I learned a lot more. But what I found, because my background is graphic design, so I've been graphic designer basically all my life, but I started about 10 years ago doing product photography. So when I was doing my listings, I was creating, what I was hoping were good images, realizing that images are what really sells your product. And then I found that there was a few other people that weren't probably doing the right thing with their images or were poor quality images. So I sort of got onto the Amazon side of things through being an Amazon seller, just trying to help people with their images because they weren't quite didn't look like they were quite doing the right thing.
And just for the benefit of everybody else, and there are quite a few people in this group that you have helped out. You were just helping people out, but pretty much for free. And then we turned that into a small service that you and me together.
Yes.
The two of us.
We turned that into, as sort of a business sort of aiming mainly at Amazon sellers, because Amazon's so specific in what they want and you have to nail it right straight away with your images. You just have to.
Absolutely.
And if you get it wrong, that could be the difference between profit and loss. So.
Your whole business can go down. All right. So again, for the benefit of everybody else, this is Carolyn Acuna, or Kaz, from Kazbar Design. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk to you about your listings. We're going to talk to you about optimization. We're going to talk to you about how you get those beautiful conversions. And I do want everybody to get into the comments and ask questions, because right at the end of this, we're going to take as many questions as we possibly can within limits. we're gonna have some dinner later. All right. Without further ado, let's show everybody, and feel free to pipe in. Although this is, I'm going to start with my side of knowledge. I'm going to start with what I do best. And I'm just going to go into, I created, I don't know how well this is going to go. I'm never this organized, but I'm going to actually try to get some, see, it doesn't work. Organization just does not work for me.
There you go. Always works like that.
When I'm half organized. Now, I do apologize, Kaz, but I created these and I know they're not up to your standards.
Well, but They sell the message. That's
But I'm going to hope that it's going to help people understand what the customer journey is on Amazon. And I hope I haven't made any typos or anything else, because I didn't even second guess them. But essentially, when a customer goes on Amazon, they start with a search. And usually the search is pretty minimal, and it goes something like towels, right? You start with a search like this, you get onto a page like this, and you probably know this. We've done this before in the group and everything, so you can pipe in and tell me, does anybody buy anything on this page as they're scrolling through on Amazon's first page of search results?
No, because it's too general a keyword.
So, but everybody starts something like that. And I mean, it might not just be a one word, it might be a 2-word search term or something, but everybody starts that way. And then as they're going through it, they realize, oh, well, I didn't just want any towels. What I wanted was white towels, or what I wanted was kids' towels, or what I wanted was dinosaur towels, or whatever it is, right? So then they don't buy from this page. They don't even click on page 2, if there is a page 2, because it depends on whether they're searching on their phones or whatever else. So nobody goes here. Nobody clicks on that number 2. Everybody goes right back up into the search bar, and then goes a little bit more specific. So maybe towels for bathroom, and then they search again, and maybe white towels for bathroom, or towels for bathroom white. That's another thing. You know, all those weird keywords that we find? And usually they've got a lot more searches than some of the normal keywords or search terms, the long tail search terms. They've got a lot more searches than the normal ones. This is why, because people go in there and then they just add words, and they might not make sense to a human or in a sentence, but that is the search term that a lot of people use. And then once you get to this page and you've got white towels for the bathroom, and this is what I actually wanted, now is the time for me to choose something. And what I'm comparing here on this page is the price. In this case, I might be comparing quality just out of the title. So you want the title to have every kind of aspect of what it is. But you're looking at the image, and you're looking at the reviews, and you're comparing price. And it's not necessarily the case that the lowest price wins. It's usually the combination of a few different things. So if on this page 1 I had something with 0 reviews, that would probably be a little bit hard to sell if it didn't have a much lower price than everything else, or if it didn't have a lot more value than everything else. But if I found a product with 12,000 reviews here and another product with 20 reviews there, and they were all in the 4.5, 5-star kind of thing, that's where it doesn't really matter as much, because now there is something there showing you that, yeah, it's a legitimate product. It's a fairly good product. Somebody else has reviewed it. So those are the things that we're looking at. So the number 1 thing that we're looking at is the image, the hero image. And the hero image has got quite a few restrictions on Amazon. Some of them are across the board. Some of them are for everybody. Some of them are only for specific categories. So some products can have a person wearing a piece of clothing, right? That the apparel category can have live models. But some others, you can't use a model in it. You have to have the product, the whole product, nothing but the product, all on a white background. So how you present the product on that first page is very, very important. But then say that after I've made that comparison as a customer, I then decide that I like the way this looks, and I like the fact that this product has got a couple of bigger ones, a couple of smaller ones, a couple of even smaller ones. I click into that. Then the important thing is what I see in these images. And I knew that my internet was going to fail me. I didn't really expect much better. But essentially what we're looking at from there on is the other images. And we've got to remember something else. People do not buy on their computers anymore. They either start the journey or complete the whole journey on their phones now, on Amazon's app. And when you go onto Amazon's app, the only thing that you can do comfortably is you can scroll through those images really, really fast. And that is what makes or breaks the decision of whether or not you're going to click on that add to cart button, or whether you're going to go back one and start looking again and repeat the process. So let me go back to my lovely slide that looks like all right. So the customer journey is, we start with the search, we optimize the search, so we go back and we add keywords, we compare the products on page one depending on the hero image, depending on the reviews and the price, and maybe a couple of words in the title. So what comes right at the beginning of that title, because if you look at if you look at these results, they get redacted. This is as much as we can see. So what goes right at the beginning needs to be really descriptive of what the product is, especially if on that first page of results, you've got other sellers being a lot more specific. So, yeah, so you compare those products on page one based on those three things. Then you click on the product and then you swipe the photos, whether it's on your phone or whether it's on the computer. The only thing that customers actually read is the stuff that's on the photo. So you need to have words as well as images on the photos, and then they repeat, and then they buy after a few tries and a few different products. So that's the customer journey. Now, from our point of view, I say a lot of the time to everybody in the group that you've got slow sales, you've got low sales. Okay, tell me what is going on. So there's a couple of places to go to see what your conversions are like, what kind of views you're getting, and they can be whether it's PPC or whether it's in your business reports. There's a couple of places to go to see how you're converting. And what I normally say to people is that if you're getting views, then that means that you've got that your keywords are okay. If you're getting views and not conversions, there's something wrong with your photos. The other way around, if you're not getting any views, then there's something wrong with your keywords. We're looking for why you're not getting enough people getting eyeballs on the product, right? So that same customer journey from our point of view is we have to look at the keywords first. We have to actually get people into the listing first. And the keywords are used for in a couple of different places. First of all, they're used in the listing itself because we want to index and we want to rank organically for certain keywords, at least for our main keywords when we first launch a product. And then the other thing that we look at is to get extra ranking juice and an extra boost there. And the way that we do that is we kill it with PPC. We throw a whole load of keywords into the mix, and we throw away a little bit of money at the beginning just so that we can get that extra ranking juice for all the right keywords, the ones that we can tell from our tools, and we'll talk about the tools, the ones that we can tell from the tools that are actually going to give us a good positioning in Amazon search results. The next thing that we've got to be really, really, really careful about is the hero image. We don't want to just throw something together and put it there. And the hero image, you know better than me, we normally create like 1 or 2 extras. And what we do with those is we put them through a service called PickFu. And you've had some recent experience with that, haven't you? A couple of photos that you did, and one of them had one of the product and the other one had like 3 of the product in front of it. And PickFu actually told us which one was going to sell better. And
it's normally ones you're not always expecting. Yeah.
Exactly. It's the one that you don't expect. And I remember my first time of using PickFu was I was helping a larger company to create their photos, and they gave me 2 different photos, and they said to me, use this one. And the one that they gave me was actually not exactly compliant. So what I turned around and said to them is, okay, that's not compliant. That may or may not be brought down, and that's going to create more work for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you put it through PickFu, and if PickFu shows us a huge difference between this photo and the other one, then absolutely I'll use it, and I'll do the extra work required if the product comes down, if it becomes suppressed. And funny thing was that I didn't expect it. I actually expected the one that I'd chosen, the compliant one, to be the better one. But PickFu was just, it went crazy with the non-compliant one. And up until this day, the company's still using that photo and it hasn't been suppressed. We've been really, really lucky. But PickFu is a service. It's a polling service. Essentially what it finds for you is customers, Amazon customers of you can pretty much specify whether you want mums or whether you want, there's a few demographics that you can play with, and what it does is it asks you can ask them a question or a few questions and ask them to compare whether it's your images, your listings, certain things, and the answers that you get are so detailed. They are just so amazing. They get a few dollars. They get a couple of dollars or whatever it is from PickFu. You have to pay, whatever money you pay goes pretty much to them. And it's an amazing service. It gives you so much insight in your product. So I shouldn't be going, there's so much to go through today. I should be very careful with how much I blab on today. So the hero image is very, very important. And then the price is important. So when you're first starting out, you do want to start with a few dollars less, a couple of dollars less, or $1 or $2 less than some of the products in the search results that you're going to find. You do want reviews, and I don't mean anything black hat, and I don't mean giving away products for reviews, and I don't mean any of that stuff. It's too dangerous to do it now. Before, I used to be the only white hatter in the industry. Right now, the people who are trying to do black hat tricks or grey hat tricks, they're actually getting caught into this. Don't try it. What you do want to do is you do want to do a lot of PPC, get a lot of sales to begin with. And that depends on a few things. When you're launching, what kinds of keywords you're using in your PPC, all that kind of stuff. And then from there on, the rest of the images actually sell the product. So your conversion comes from the images and the videos that you're able to upload onto your listing. So having said that, let me do a quick show of I'm going to talk about I'm going to let you talk about the photos. I'm going to give you the stage and tell me what you wanted to say about how to take pictures on your own. I've got a few things here for people and a few different tools for people that they can use. But when you're taking photos on your own, and what we've said is depending on the investment. So if I'm just starting out and I'm just buying like $300 worth of product to test the market and see whether the product is any good, whether I'm any good, whether I can do anything with this product, I'm learning the ropes. I don't recommend that anybody goes out and pays a whole heap of money for a big set of photos or anything like that. But in that case, they can take their own photos. I've taken my own photos. I started with, I was actually scanning some of my products on my scanner. That's where I was doing my flat lays. You've got a lot better ideas here for us. So tell us what this is about. Do you want to go through this?
Yeah. So the first part is just really, like you're saying, if you're just getting sample size images, products, and you don't want to spend a lot of money yet because you may not go ahead with the product. So I've just got a few little tips of how maybe to take a better photo so you can sort of have good looking images on your listing. So you want to think about who you're aiming the product at. So who's your avatar? So you want to style it towards your avatar, keeping the mood of your image relevant to that age group or sex. Then what sort of story you're telling with your product and what it does. How is it helping someone? What are the benefits of your product? Why is someone going to buy your product? So you've got to get down all your key selling points, basically 3 to 5 key selling points that you can show in your images that you've got. So that will allow people to straight away get an idea of why your product's better than someone else's, why you should buy it. And also, when you are taking the images, just put in what you need in the photo. You don't need to put in a whole lot of stuff that's going to distract people from your image, or your product, sorry. So make sure that you put in only what's relevant to your product in the image. You don't want someone looking in the background that, say, you've got type in the background. If you've got type in the background, the eye will read it. So their attention's going to go to something they can read. So just make sure that it's just all stuff that points to your image that you put in there. And doing lifestyle shots, you want to show how it's used. So people can't touch your product, so you've got to show in your lifestyle images how you use the product. And that also gives people a good sense of the size of your product, because usually from the white background images, the hero images, you don't get an idea of the size.
It can be this big or it can be this big.
Yeah, exactly. Tiny little things, And that way, at least, if you've got it in the hand or someone's using it or you're showing it in use, then people get an idea also on the size, because obviously if it doesn't look like the size and they receive it, you're going to get complaints. So that's important. And like I said before, I've got down the bottom one is the main selling features. So just break it down. If you're talking to someone, giving them the elevator pitch, what's good about your product, put it down. And then if someone will come back to you and you say, okay, it helps me sleep better at night. And and then someone might say to you, so what? So you go, well, look, so what? Well, that means you can get more rest and you're happier in the day, blah, blah, blah. So keep asking yourself after you pitch, do your elevator pitch or your benefits for your product, so what? You know, someone asks you, so what's, you know, what about, so what? Why should I care? Get it down so you completely
nail it to what
nail it to exactly why you benefit. Yeah. So
that is such a great way of putting it, guys. So what? So what? Keep asking yourselves, so what?
Yeah. Get someone to ask you to do your pitch to your partner or your friend or someone, and get them to say what you back, so you can get it down into a nice succinct word, because you haven't got much word. You can't use too much type on your images. So.
Nobody cares whether your towel is so many GSM. Everybody cares that it's light and fluffy against the skin.
It's soft and
they can't imagine it being light and fluffy against the skin when they come out of the shower after a hard day's work. There's nothing in it for them.
yeah. It's what no one cares about. They care about them. So
exactly
what it does for you, what it does for me, why should I buy it, how's it helped me, and that's what you got to make sure you convey. So if we go to the next image, I'm just showing you a few basic setups that you can do with your phone, or if you've got a camera, use your camera. So lighting is very important when you take photos. So you've got to make sure you're either in a window light, next to a window getting a good light, or under, say, decking that hasn't got direct sunlight, or you're having a lamp or something on your product. So here I'm just showing you two types of shadows.
Bathtub, window on top.
yeah, somewhere nice and light, white walls around you.
1 p.m. in the afternoon.
You've done this before?
I've done this before.
So you have two types of shadow. On the left, you've got the hard light, which is just a direct light or bulb or sunlight. And on the right, you've got a soft light, which usually, depending what effect you want on your image, if you want a more dramatic, but normally you want to go with the soft light. So if we go to the next image.
Yep.
So the soft light here, for this, I've just set up a phone and a bit of continuous just paper. Bought some paper from Officeworks, put just a little desk lamp, but in front of the desk lamp, I've set up just a scrim, which is like, I've just used a cheap painting frame. I've taken the canvas off and I've covered it with, on there it's actually just white plastic from a shower curtain, but you can use baking paper and you cover it with that, and that will soften the light for you, so you don't have a direct light. So it's a really cheap way.
I need to say something to everybody, because everybody's going to think that this is the way that you actually take photos. And I'm going to say that Kaz is a professional photographer.
Yeah,
she does have equipment. This is just a trashy way of showing us what we can use at home without having the equipment. And God knows that iPhones today are pretty, any phone really, not is just they've got such good cameras. From there on, it comes down to the lighting, and that is sufficient for somebody who's trying to just put something up.
This is a cheap setup. This is a cheap setup for you, bare minimum what you need. All right,
don't need
and it's cheap to put together, and on the other side it's just the bare bulb. So you see the hard light, and on the left and behind it, I've got some just foam board that you can get from Officeworks too. So you can set up your shot, line it up with your camera, and take the photo. So the difference is the shadow and the harshness of the light. But again, if you're looking for that look with your product, it's what you're after.
It's really, really easy to get that with just the bare minimum of equipment. Go on.
So I just thought, I'm not sure, I presume all phones have a square setting. It's good to use that if you're taking your photos, because on Amazon, it's probably good to have square images. So that will give you an idea in the frame, at least at where it is in the frame or how it's looking, even with lifestyle or main product.
It'll take up the most of the space that you've got in most devices that your image will be shown. So depending on which device, what app, etc., the square photos pretty much come up bigger and in the customer's face if it's a square photo.
Yeah, so it just keeps you, especially for lifestyle, and that keeps you in frame. So yeah, the next one, that's again just another setup showing the window light is used in this one. And I've just put a table next to the window, set up some boards. So the board, but the whiteboard that's on the left, that's there to reflect the light so you don't get too much shadow on this side that is away from your main light. So and obviously behind the lights bouncing off too. So it just allows you to see the details in your images. So it's and I've got clips just holding the boards. If you notice down the bottom, there's just those clasps just holding the core flute up. So it's a
really just
you can put a bottle behind
those line pegs kind of thing. You have to.
Yeah, just something to hold the board up. So that's just the basic setup. And on you can also use coloured paper for your background, not obviously on the main hero image, but if you want to add a bit of colour or make your image pop, say the third image, you can just grab some coloured, paper from your newsagents just to change the look a little bit, just to give you a bit of variety in your images.
Or if you want to make something pop in a combo photo of some sort, or if you want to, this would probably make it really, really easy to clip a photo. So a lot of the times I find that if I use a black background, I'm then able to put it through a cheap clipping. And just for anybody who doesn't know, clipping means essentially you're getting rid of all the background and you're making it totally white. And
can I just mention there though, depending on the colour of your object, see, I would want to clip something with a white background because you're going to get the shadow reflecting off whatever your colour is.
I know.
So if you have a white object with a black background, you're going to get black.
Because otherwise it comes up red around the edges.
Yeah, the red one, if you clip it, you don't see it there, but you will see red shadows all through it reflecting.
Yeah. No,
so it's not true colour.
I don't do it too often, but
well, black's good if you've got something really white and you get the shadow around it. Yeah,
exactly. So a lot of the time, if I've got something totally white and it's hard to clip it, I'll put it on a black one, and that way I don't get the color as well. Oh, hey, did you know I knew so much about photography, about crap photography? All right, so you've got a flat lay here. Tell us about this.
This is a badly lit flat lay, but I was just using the hard light and I just quickly took this, but you can also use flat lays for your images, which are pretty basic photos you can take. You just arrange around it things that might be relevant, or it might be a handbag spilling out stuff, or you might be looking down at boots and say if you're selling sports stuff, you might have some gym stuff around it. So you just obviously put it down, look directly above it and take the photo straight on it. It's a quick, easy, nice shot that, just make sure you arrange it that things are pointing in the direction. Maybe I didn't do that well in that because I rushed it, but things sort of leading the eye into your product. So you just want to make sure that you're not taking your eye away from the product. Just make sure everything's leading the eye into the product.
Awesome.
And that's another quick, easy one to do. That's just the screen, just the basic picture frame with white paper on it behind the light, just showing you what it looks like, and it's super simple to do.
And there's so much equipment for next to nothing these days on Amazon. On Amazon.
And on Amazon, Amazon's got it all too.
A lot of people are using them.
Yeah, so that's just, if you've got bad lighting or poor product images that people think you've got cheap product, and they'll just flip through to the next person who's got better images.
Now, these ones here, I know what pictures these are, and some people will actually recognize them. Somebody's going to actually recognize them as her own. So
we did get permission to use these.
We do. So essentially, a lot of your work comes from people whose products aren't selling, and what they're trying to do is see if there's actually a reason behind that. And a lot of the time they bring down their listing, they redo it, and they relist or relaunch, etc., etc. Sometimes they do what this person here did, which was essentially just to make a few changes in the listing and see if it was going to make a difference. And sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, but usually if if the problem is conversions and not clicks or views, then this kind of a thing will actually help them. So the picture on the left is the before picture. Do you want to tell us something about that?
Oh, well, yeah, as I've got written down, all the images, a lot of the images were the wrong sizing, like they weren't making the most of the full, like you were saying, the square image gives you the bigger picture, and the color, there was no detail. It didn't look like, it didn't tell you the quality.
Dirty. because of the lighting.
Inspire you.
Yeah, it looks dirty. Your ones look so much cleaner here. So you actually retook those photos and
got the lighting. So I got the lighting, so you see the actual contoured lines, and you can tell that it's fluffy and soft and lush. So it gives you a better idea of what the product is, conveying that it is a good quality product.
And here's another one of these. She had created a photo to show the size, apart from also giving her, and I don't remember if you've got any lifestyle images in this, but apart from giving her some lifestyle images which essentially showed the actual size, you redid the whole image into a graphic that's got all the details in there, and it's wow. Tell me something about that.
Well, it's just the image with the measurements. Often you see a lot of the measurement images, you can't read the measurements. If you're on the phone, you're not going to see that type. It's too small. It's uninteresting to look at. So I just wanted to spice it up a bit so people will actually stop and look at the page and make it more interesting, and add, a little bit in like the high quality and hyperallergenic. So trying to sell other qualities as well of your product while you're giving the measurements and, pretty uninteresting details. You want to add a little bit more of interest or a couple more selling points onto it while you're there. So you're not wasting the space all on measurements and everything. You're using it, as best you can.
Awesome. I'm seeing some comments have come through. Guys, keep on asking questions. I absolutely want questions as we go forward with this. So keep on telling us more. What's going on?
Oh, this was just a different way of conveying the product, making it again appear more like a luxury product rather than something that's been thrown on the floor. So just, adding key points, what's included.
When you're asking prices a little bit higher, it's ridiculous to
you've got to convey it. If you're asking more, you've got to show them that they're getting perceived value sort of thing.
Exactly. And images are perceived value. Here's another one.
Yep, so this is just an infographic. The infographic on the left isn't bad. It's just I decided that we'd utilise it to show the product in use, and as well as highlighting, selling points of the product, why you want it, how it helps you, why is it useful, and also, making the type a bit more readable, not putting too many icons, but just being able to glance at it without even reading it, looking at it and seeing, you get what the product's about just looking at it even without reading it.
Well, Tanya's saying brilliant, just showing the texture makes the world of a difference. So thank you very much for that, Tanya. Yes, we agree. Absolutely. And then just bringing out those wonderful images and making it look so so luxurious. And again, here are some lifestyle shots. Now, I want you to tell me something about this, because a lot of people think that to get lifestyle shots like this, they need big production, $10,000 to rent the place. Sometimes get models in there, all that kind of stuff. And you've managed to do it in the regular price of your packages. Now, I'm not going to talk about prices today at all, so that wasn't the point of my comment. Everybody can go into the website and check to see what kinds of packages Kaz has got, and it's not just about the packages, it's also about getting specific quotes for what it is that you want, because there are going to be I want plus this minus that, but in this case, tell me how you created these, and what's the difference between creating them the way that you created them versus having a live shoot and production somewhere in an Airbnb that you've rented for 2
years. And they're the good places to do these things. It's just cost. It all comes down to cost. So I try and get stock images that I think would be suitable. I take the photos on the angle and the lighting that's in stock images and put it in, and put a bit of time. It does take work. Put a bit of time. It takes a bit of work to make it look real. But most
you're not paying $500 for the night for an Airbnb.
And models, of course, cost money. And when your product gets bigger and you can afford it, then you can get more models and you can do the location shoots. But I try and obviously do what I can. If I can use something, I will in real life. But if not,
it's not possible with all products. I understand that, and everybody needs to contact you before they make a decision that they're going to get this kind of a photo. It's not for all products, but in cases that it is possible, you speak to the client and you pretty much just tell them what it is that you can do. Now, another thing that I do want to discuss with you, because we've had this conversation before, we've had clients of yours, mine, at various times saying to us that they're going to get stock photos from one place or another. And there is such a thing as free stock photos. There is such a thing as paid stock photos, but there is such a thing also as different licensing for photos. And I've mentioned on the website when I was announcing this that you've got to be really, really careful where you get your photos done, or where you get your stock photos if you're doing this yourself. Because if you have a license that will not allow you to do this, or if you just steal the photo off the internet and manipulate it, which is what a lot of Fiverr guys do, etc., you're pretty much risking a lot in your business. Everybody's entitled to take risks in their business, but at the same time, what you're looking to do is at least be compliant and legal. And one thing that I want you to tell everybody is, do you get licensed photos? Do you have the license for what it is that you're creating? And what kind of license do you give your customers? Can you elaborate a little bit on that before we go on?
Well, I just use stock images that have a general license on them. So that mainly means for websites, or you can use it on the web. And so it's depending on the image, certain print run, but it can't be for specific printed things. It can only be, made. It's some things you can use it for print, but only so many runs. But the safest way is, like for all these images, what I use, I pay for the license for them, just for general use for web and just online use mainly.
And then the license that you give the customer, can they use the photos for the purpose that was intended?
Yeah. So, well, they can use it. It's normally for websites and social media and e-selling, online selling and that sort of thing.
And then from there on, if somebody actually wants to have something printed somewhere, that's a totally different licensing arrangement, and they can talk to you about that.
Yeah, it just depends on where they want it printed, how many prints. That's sort of another conversation to have, depending on what they want done.
So that's a little bit about copyright, and thank you very much for elaborating. So what else is here?
That's just an infographic. Again, lifestyle, showing the luxurious, compared to,
You can see the luxurious feel in it here, which you can't see here.
Yeah, and just key points. Yeah, same there. Yeah, it's just all lifestyle, adding the points as well.
And does it relate to your keywords? What do you mean by that?
Well, I know it's hard with new products that you're not sure, but usually on Helium 10 you can gather keywords that other people are selling similar stuff are selling for. So you want to make sure that the images are sort of relevant to what the main keywords are for your product. So the two correlate. So when someone comes onto the listing and they've done the search, it backs up images, back up the words, back up the images, back up the words. So it not only sets in their mind that, well, this must be what I'm looking for because it looks like what my keyword is that I'm searching for. And having the words with the images also sort of reinforces the quality of your product as well. So it's just making sure that the images that are done are relevant to what people will be searching for. Just reinforces that they got the right product and this is what they want.
And how does it meet the customer needs?
Yeah, that's just a question you've got to ask when you're doing your images. Yeah, does this meet the customer needs, or how's my product meet their needs, and do my images convey that? Yeah,
you need to know who your customer is.
Yeah, know your customer. How can you best convey value to your customer? So that's with the infographics or the lifestyle and what we went over before. It's just sort of just reinforcing what you want to tell your customer. And I put lastly, would you buy it if you saw your listing? So you want to just have a look or get someone to look and say, well, would this make me buy it, my images compared to the next person? So
one thing that I tell everybody to do is to take one of their own images and put it in here.
Yeah.
And compare it. And obviously you'd be doing it under certain keywords. Yeah. Always put it on page 1, right in the middle, smack bang of page 1. Would you still buy it if it came up in a search like that? Tanya's she's got a question for us, and I don't understand what she's asking. Do you want to read that and tell me what she means?
Oh, okay. Yeah. The 3D drawings are really, really realistic. But I guess you can mainly tell if you enlarge the image and you can see that it's actually not pixelated like photos are pixelated. It's got that smoother finish to it. Everything's perfect in the 3D image, and they look great, but I know Amazon doesn't like 3D images, that's all.
Oh, I don't think she was referring to one of your images.
Oh yes, so on one of the before and after images, the bathroom shot, that's the next one up, I think.
This one?
Yeah, that's 3D.
That's 3D, is it? Okay, so this is how much I know. That's where my knowledge stops. So
they're amazing. They're good. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just, you know, you got to be able to get away with them. That's all. They're amazing. Their 3D images look so realistic. They're just amazing.
Okay. The before shot looks like genuine photo. I asked before because we use digital rendering for our product images. So you recommend that she continues to do that?
It's more, I think it was just more a little thing with Amazon. I'd probably more for the front page, the packaging. Yeah, a lot of people use 3D images for the packaging and all that sort of thing. You want to be careful using it for your hero image. I know a lot of people get 3D images from the supplier, or they get someone to do a 3D image of their product. And I think mainly the hero, particularly, you got to be really careful with. It's just, yeah, it's just, who knows? Amazon will be quirky, but it's not that they're bad. They're amazing, the 3D images, what they can do. It's just you've got to be careful.
Absolutely. All right. So we've mentioned a few things, and I am going to be putting links in the comments, guys, and I will be updating and editing the posts here. Please keep on putting your questions in there. Let's see what Debbie has to ask. Hi, Kelly. What is your opinion on using an infographic that highlights the pros of your own product versus the cons of competitors' products? You're going to have to be able to get away with that. Look, there's different laws in different countries, and Amazon is going to be global for you. I haven't done it before. I don't recommend it. It looks a little bit tacky, depending on who you are really and what your brand is about. Sometimes I've seen some sellers get away with ours, theirs, without specifying whose. So that
comparisons.
Yeah, a comparison photo like that. It really needs to be thought out, and you've got to make sure that it doesn't look tacky, I guess. I've got nothing really bad against it, I suppose, but yeah, you don't want to look bad by doing it. Okay. Now, what else can we talk about today? Apart from, I'm still waiting for some questions. I know that you guys know everything because you just do. Tell me about free stock image places that people can use. I've got free editing software and what have you.
I think maybe you want to mention that, because I actually only know a few stock places in Canva, Canva as well, and
so I've got on my list things like Clipping Magic. I think it's wonderful. I know that no graphic designer would be caught dead using it, but
if it does a good job. I mean, we all have our own techniques. I probably don't use it, but you can.
And it makes a lot of sense. You actually want your photographer and your graphic designer to actually be using professional stuff. Tanya's asking, is Canva okay for etching? I haven't actually used it for etching. I don't use Canva all that much, although I have an account with them, and I've done like the occasional graphic. But to the best of my knowledge, I've heard people raving about it, so I don't think that there's an issue with that. I personally use Clipping Magic a lot, only because it's so easy. I just throw it's just the one app that does the one thing, and it just essentially just clips the photo. You can change a little bit of the lighting on it, etc., and you can come up with an amazing shot in seconds. It is a paid app though, and so is Canva when it comes to the the image that you're downloading. You can download images on Canva, but if you want a high res one, you actually have to have a paid account with them. And I use things like Pexels and Unsplash a lot, but you've got to be really, really careful how you use it, etc. Again, in regards to copyright and all that kind of stuff. Every single one of those sites has got you can click into it and you can check to see what you're allowed to do with the photos. Another thing we touched on was Helium-10. And essentially what you're looking for is the keywords that make up your listing and the keywords that you're going to use for PPC. And those are two separate things. I do have on my website a link to some PPC and listing keywords, a couple of videos that show you how to use Helium-10 for that. If there's anybody that that wants to ask any questions about that or any other tool. But essentially what it is say that you're selling, let me add this. Say that you're selling a towel. What you want to do is you want to figure out what keywords are actually being searched for. And there's more than 20 tools, and apparently today or tomorrow there's more coming out. Between today and tomorrow there's more coming out, so that's some great news from Helium-10 again. They just don't stop giving with these plans. But essentially what you're looking at is this search volume. You don't want to not be using keywords in your listing that have got high search volume and that are your product, that describe your product. But at the same time, you want to understand which of these keywords are pretty expensive so that you're not using them in PPC when you don't have a budget for them. And you understand a lot about the competition, etc. All right. Anybody else? Do you want to say something more about this? I think I'm pretty much done. If anybody else has got any more questions, or if I see anything while I'm looking in Facebook, I'll come back to you. Do you want to say something as well?
What else?
Round it all up and put it in with a little bow.
No, it's just making sure when you do your images and your infographics that, yeah, you just keep it succinct so people at a glance can see what it is you're selling and why they should, buy your product. And, make sure the lighting's good. If you're doing the images yourself, just use good lighting. That will always improve your images, and just sort of, convey the right message for your brand. And
use the right tools, even if
use the right tools. Kelly's got a big list of tools, so you got lots of tools you use for different things.
Is an average? You're a tool too, Casbah Design. So am I, for that matter. Is an average video better than no video? Would it possibly damage customer view of the product? If you're going to do an average video, I recommend a slideshow. What do you think? You actually do provide video services as well, don't you?
Just starting to now. It's you can do the slideshows. It's probably good. And there's a lot of effects you can do with slideshow images, so you keep it good quality. It also depends on your product too, who you're aiming it at and what. Whether it's highbrow or lowbrow, sort of who you're aiming it at as to what you can get away with, I think. But obviously, again, if you're doing a video, make sure you've got good lighting, good sound, and that should be enough.
Kaylee, I've seen videos on Amazon that have been really, really high production, and knowing something about the trade, I have seen videos that I know would have cost $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. But those videos are the ones that also have brought in sales of $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 last month, not just last year. So absolutely don't go out of your way to create a video that is really high production for a product that you're testing if you've got a low MOQ. And anybody who knows me and who's a part of my group will know that I'm a big, huge fan of low MOQs for newbies and first products. I don't want anybody, and you know what? It's not about whether or not the product will sell. So I see products that I know will sell, and I still tell the seller to buy a low MOQ of it. And that to me means that if I'm going to get them running to buy more because it did go bonkers in sales, or if we're going to have to bring down the ASIN and put up a new ASIN, or whatever it means later on, I'm happy with them having to do that so long as they're learning through the process. So don't go out and do a really high production thing. If you're going to do it on your own using video, I've got a coupon code for that one as well. What have I got? Callie 50 for that one as well, I think. So use in video and use the coupon code Callie 50, CALLI 50, and that will just help you to either use your own photos as a slideshow, or you can actually get stock video which you are licensed to use. Otherwise, talk to Kaz. Kaz is the whiz when it comes to anything images and videos. I introduced you as the whiz in the actual post. I'm sorry.
Hey, the whiz.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Yeah, so if you're first starting out, you want to keep it low. If it starts selling, then you want more sales, then you grow it, etc., etc. That's with that. Now, those Callie 10 and Callie 50 and Callie 100 things, look out for them because they're my codes. So for Helium 10, if you did want to give it a shot, and there's a free one, there's a trial, there's a few different things, but there's also a Callie 50 code for 50% off your first month. PicFu, again, Callie 50. You can get, I think, the first poll for 50% off. And if you do want to talk to Kaz, she's at kazbardesign.com. And we've also got a done-for-you service on privatelabelaustralia.com.au that we've just recently put together. I'll be putting a few more links there in the post. Okay. I don't see any more questions coming in, but please do add them even after this video. I know that I get a lot of views afterwards, so please do. We'll continue to tag us anywhere, and we'll be able to come in and answer your questions. All righty. I think it's about dinner time now, especially yours.
Time to eat.
I know it's your dinner time. All right, so we'll let everybody go, and please do ask questions, tag us, speak to us. We've got links on the sites where you can book us in for a short time period just to ask us a few questions on the phone in private, and anything else that you want, just find us in the groups. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.